Patrick Netherton Show, 11:30 The Tiger. He's Rogers, I'm Patrick, and we're pleased to welcome in one of our favorites down in New Orleans, the Big Easy. He is the Tulane head football coach, Willie Fritz. Always enjoy getting a chance to chat with him. Coach, what is going on, my friend?
Oh, just working. We're in the middle of camp right now and going and blowing. And I appreciate y'all having me on. Thank you.
Always. We love chatting with you. All right, so now that we're kind of, we're a weekend, most teams have had a scrimmage now, and you're kind of getting things set. Where do you feel like you are in your preparation?
Well, we're very excited about where we're at right now. We've got a lot of guys coming back. I think there's 15 guys on each side of the ball that have started at least one ball game in their career, here at Tulane. So a lot of experience. We feel good about the quarterback position. We got beat up at that spot last year. I learned a valuable lesson last year. You don't want to get injured at the quarterback position and also your kickers. That's the bad one.
Yeah,
right there. We had both of them, but Michael Pratt had surgery after the season, and he's in great shape right now. Justin Ibiata, who tore his labrum with too. He's healthy, and we got some other guys at the quarterback position doing a nice job. A good competition for our kicker, and it's just going well. We're just pumped up to flush old 2021 season down the toilet and move on to 2022. We got good kids, great attitudes, and we're very excited about that first ball game we have September the 3rd against UMass.
I'm sure you don't get a chance to necessarily care or look around the state at kind of what's going on. Maybe you pay a little bit of attention, but I think you may be the only team with a returning starting quarterback. It feels like every Division I football team in the state is got a quarterback battle that they're dealing with, and you kind of know who your guy is. Granted, he's coming off an injury, but at least you have stability there.
Yeah, we do, and that's good. It's always a good thing. Michael Pratt is a very poised, competitive, servant leader type guy, good arm strength. Really has got great movement, very good speed. We just got to get him to know when to slide and when to keep running. We tell him all the time, first down, touchdown, get down, and we're working on that third part of it, the get down part.
Yeah.
But that's what makes him special. He's very competitive, likes to get that extra yard, but we're pumped about having a returning starting quarterback.
You're a guy, your offense has always typically featured a mobile quarterback or a guy that could at least threaten in that run game. When you have an injury like that where, hey, we kind of rely on a guy and then there's an injury, does that temper your want to let the QB move around a little bit? Do you kind of go, man, I sure wish my offense was predicated on, having Joe Montana back there sitting in the pocket like a statue? Or is that just kind of, hey, that's kind of the price of doing business in this offense sometimes?
Well, it is a little bit the price of doing business. If you can run the quarterback, you just got to pick your spots. If you're doing it. When I was the head coach at Georgia Southern, when I first got here to Tulane, we ran the quarterback a bunch, and you had to have two or three of them because they'd run the ball 15, 20 times a game. Now we're trying to do it 3 or 4 times. It's great with the RPOs. It makes the defense have to account for the quarterback, in the run game. And if the guy's a statue and doesn't run the ball at all, it does make it quite a bit easier on the defense. That's why you see, so many great defenses in the NFL, because most teams don't have, a quarterback that they're going to run or can't run. That's not what they're looking for. So, I think you got to, if your quarterback can do it, you'd love to run the guy 3, 4, 5 times a game.
You had last year, you mentioned kind of flush the season down the toilet. But that being said, Coach, you're 2-10, but you've got 5 games where you're within a touchdown. Your record could have very easily been 7-5, and you're saying, okay, well, that wasn't a great season, but we kind of weathered through it. I've got to imagine that's the most frustrating thing as a coach. If you're 2-10 and everybody's just beating the hell out of you, it's like, okay, we're not good enough. We need to get better. But if you're 2-10 and you got 5 of those that are within a touchdown, that's got to be so frustrating as a coach because you're close to having a winning season.
Well, there's a lot of things that are frustrating. We got we went over to Birmingham for 27 nights, and so I think I had 12 guys that had to stay in a hotel for the whole season, because of Ida.
Right.
And we had some injuries we had to deal with, and just kind of piled on top of each other. But you just got to keep fighting through it. And I was proud of the competitiveness that our guys showed. With all the hardships that we had to endure, I had next to zero problems. They handled it in a mature manner with all the curveballs we were throwing. But you want to get those W's. You just got to continue to keep fighting through the adversity and win those close games. It's something that we got to do a better job of this season.
Well, I guess if you're going to have adversity, at least just have it all in one season, right? You've used up all your adversity, Coach. You should be scot-free for this season. You had it all last year.
Sure hope so. I sure hope so. That would be great. We went over to Birmingham. I had them packed for 3 days. I was off by 24. And then we brought all our dogs and cats and pets, and it looked like Noah's Ark over there. So it was an interesting trip. Someday I'll write a book about it.
Well, and that's, to me, that's the thing. We've seen that from Tulane. As I recall, Tulane had to evacuate to Tech at one point in Ruston. And, I know Nichols had to leave and McNeese had to leave at one point after hurricanes. That's the thing that maybe as a coach you're not prepared for. Right. I gotta figure out a way to stop the inside zone. All right. I can figure that out. But now I got to figure out how to get my team to understand that we're going and staying in another state for a month. How do you even begin to approach that when that is not anywhere in your your coaching purview?
Well, we have an emergency evacuation plan we go through every spring. So we know what we're going to do. This is a certain hotel we went to over there in Birmingham. We've got an agreement with them. Our university did a great job of taking care of us. And I certainly don't want to compare our experience to what the guys from Tulane went through with Katrina. I've heard those stories. I mean, it was unbelievable. Those guys were gone almost for a year. They didn't play any home games.
Mm-hmm.
We came back. We were able to have a few home games with fans. That was the different part last year. We had everybody went through COVID. We went through COVID and last season as well, so it's kind of a 2-year deal instead of a 1-year deal.
Right.
But we've had these different hardships. This year it's going to be smooth sailing as all those things are concerned. But it was definitely an interesting time. Yeah,
and I think a lot of people also forget New Orleans was one of kind of ground zero for COVID. It kind of started there, it felt like, in a lot of ways. Like some of the first major outbreaks of COVID were in New Orleans there in the early going. So obviously a lot of that. Again, like we said, Coach, all that adversity was last year and 2 years ago. You got no adversity coming up in 22. Yeah, 22's got no adversity in it at all. There's going to be nothing but smooth sailing. Talking to Willie Fritz, head coach of the Tulane Green Wave. All right, transfer portal is obviously such a big deal for everyone. Gary Goff's, we had him on earlier from McNeese, and he's basically got 60 kids that have come in that are new to the program, and the portal is such a big deal. I imagine there's probably a little more of a challenge for the portal with you guys because of the academic requirements of Tulane. Tell me a little bit about what you can and can't get done in the portal, and is it more of a challenge for y'all because of those stringent academic requirements?
Well, we definitely have different academic requirements, with incoming freshmen or, getting guys out of the portal. Grad students as well. They've got to have a certain GPA to come in here, even if they've graduated from another 4-year school. But there are some guys out there. We feel like we've added some excellent football players. We've gotten some guys from the New Orleans area. Sometimes, people think the grass is greener someplace else. Find out it's only green, and they want to come back home again. Got Lawrence Keys, who's at Notre Dame, graduated up there. I'll have 2 years to play for us. Patrick Jenkins was at TCU, and he's a local product, played at John Ehret. Lawrence played at McDonough 35. They both came back. Sean Clayton went to Colorado. Was from Warren Easton High School and was up there for a couple of years. Really good running back. So we got some guys that came back home, and I think that might be the case. I told our guys to make sure we're recruiting all these guys, in this area, irregardless of where they end up going, because you might get them on the rebound, and especially if they're New Orleans guys. A lot of these kids love, playing in front of their families, and sometimes they get away and they figure out how difficult it is for people to go watch them play. Getting hotel rooms and flights and all those other kind of things. So, we made out pretty darn good. Portal local guys.
Talking to Willie Fritz, head coach of the Tulane Green Wave. All right, so obviously internal expectations are always what they are, right? Coaches usually put a list up, and it starts with have a winning season, win the conference championship, go to a bowl, whatever. You always have the internal expectations. Coming off of a season like you had, where so many things went wrong. What do you think are realistic expectations for how the bounce back should be this year?
Well, number one, we've got a great schedule. We've got 7 home games. 3 of our first 4 are here at home.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't had that since I've been here. We've been 6-6, or last year we played a few home games on the road because of our situation, or we didn't have fans in the stands. So this will be different. We'll have true home field advantage. Great stadium here on campus. I really feel like when we get it filled up, we've had some great crowds here. It's definitely a home field advantage. So that's first and foremost. And then we feel like with all our experience, all the guys we have coming back, we're going after a conference championship. Tulane hasn't won a conference championship for a long time. We won the West Division a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
We want to compete for a conference championship. That's our number one goal.
You mentioned the schedule, and it is very manageable. We were actually talking about that earlier in the show, 3 of 4 to start at home. But obviously with the upheaval that's going on in terms of realignment in college football, Houston and Central Florida and Cincinnati, and you're seeing some movement going on. Give me some idea of where you feel like the American Athletic Conference, which has always sort of positioned itself as that kind of Power 5.5, if you will. Where do you feel like the American sits with the way that realignment is going down right now?
Well, this is going to be my 7th season here at Tulane, and we've been ranked in the top 5 in terms of conferences, I believe 5 of the 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been ahead of, one of the so-called Power 5 conferences. So this is a great league. Obviously, we're losing 3 really good teams, Houston, Cincinnati, and UCF after this year. But we're adding some quality opponents, with North Texas and UTSA, which ended up in the top 25 last year. Rice, Charlotte, Florida Atlantic, UAB, which has had a really good program. So we're adding some excellent programs, and I still think this is, going to be a top flight program. It's always interesting when you get some of these transfer guys that I've had come in from other schools, and I think after the first 3 or 4 days, almost every one of them was like, "God dang, Coach, I had no idea. This is the talent level that we have here." And that's a good thing. I'm glad they saw it that way instead of the other way.
Yeah. Coach, I was decent at my program. I'm the best player you've got. I don't know what's going on here right now, but no, it's the complete opposite, which we like. Coach, it's always a pleasure to chat with you. Please, y'all get good health and safety and no hurricanes, and let's get through 22 with let's put the best product on the field in 22 with nothing going on off the field that we have to concern ourselves with.
You betcha. Thank you very much for having me on. Roll Wave.
All right. Willie Fritz, the head coach of the Tulane Green Wave.